So, hi, Kevin.
Greetings, Ed.
We're here with Kevin Klowden from the Milken Institute. Kevin wrote this really cool report that you should all download and read.
Well, here's a question for you. If it's dying here, where are you going to move to? Because what it really comes down to is California has the talent and infrastructure core that's better than anywhere else. And that still makes a difference. The issue isn't whether or not the industry is just going to pack up and move away. The issue is that whether everything that is portable, the old movie productions, as you can see in particular, lower cost television production, things like that, whether that all moves that way and all you're left is a too small core. And in the end, that's bad for everybody because it's not just bad for the state, it's not just bad for the city, it's bad for all the workers, as you well know, because you're dealing with the fact that people have to travel everywhere for their work. There is not enough sustainable operations in any other place in this country right now to really become the new focus. There was talk several years ago about trying to create a focus out in Orlando. There's been talk about trying to create a bit in Atlanta. There's been talk about trying to create something, obviously, down in Louisiana or in New Mexico. But in the end, really, the concentration of talent, the place where you actually have to groom talent, quite honestly, you have to have a place where people can develop and work their way up the ranks. There's a real limit to what you can do if you don't have a large enough concentration, what we call a cluster. And there isn't that kind of cluster anywhere else in this country, with a possible exception in New York. And New York's cost structure, even after the incentives and such, really limits what it can do. There's a lot of things you can do in New York. Networks have shown that there's a fair amount that they can do in New York that's better there than anywhere else. There have been some great incentives. They've gotten some TV production there and a few movies and all that. But New York, there's really a limit to what it can accommodate. And if you talk to people about all the screaming that goes on when they try to shut down the streets for filming and all the different permitting issues and all that, even as much as they expedite it, and they've done a great job on that, there is a limit to how much New York can absorb. The concern is, in the end, is that if too much moves out of LA, it's bad for everybody. It's bad for people who don't know where they're necessarily going to be able to live and work. If you're spending 6 months of the year somewhere else, or 8 months or 10 months on the road for your production, it's bad for the studios and the production companies because of the fact that they can't do economies of scale. They can't concentrate things as effectively in one place. You get people where they want to get the most talented person or the most reliable people or any combination thereof to work on their productions, people they know and trust. Well, if they have to go and trust that whatever the local team is in Shreveport, the local team in Atlanta, or the local team in London or wherever else they're going, they got to either spend all their time and effort there and concentrate there, like say Tyler Perry does in Atlanta, or you've got to accept that you're going to get a different group every time. And it's very hard to assemble and maintain that infrastructure. London and New York basically can do it because they've got that concentration of TV, they've got that concentration of theater and some various other factors, but there aren't too many places in the world that really can do it. And in the end, you have the weather here, you have the resources here, you have the space here, have the facilities here. The key is just making sure that the economics continue to work here, and it's really to everybody's benefit that that happens.